Hello guys, welcome to my channel Code with Patrick. So guys, in today's video, what we are going to see is we are going to create a function which will pass a data to our database to get stored. So in our previous video, we have seen how we can create these connections. Okay, so using this connection only, we are going to pass our Python data into the database to get stored. So let's get started. So guys, before that, we have created a connection in this our Python using this PyODBC module, and in the driver name we have given our what database we are using. We are using a SQL Server database, and what is our server name? Server name in the sense in our SQL Server when we downloaded this SQL Server in our system. So by default, it have been given a name to that. So our server name is Nikesh, which is my system name. In your system also, when you will download this SQL Server database, you will get your system name as the server name only. And inside this SQL Server database, okay, inside this SQL Server database, we are going to create a database in the name of the employee database. In that and that employee named database we are going to give here. So before that, let's see how we can create a database in the SQL Server. If you're not familiar with this SQL Server, then no worries. I will give you the required amount of knowledge to work in this project. So if you want to create a database, we are going to write a simple command called create database. Okay, we are going to write create database, and after that we are going to give our database name. What will be our database name? Suppose assume that employee employee DB. So this is a employee underscore DB. So this is our database name. So when we select this and we press this execute, you can see that it will show that command completes successfully. You can see here. So after that, when you come here in the place of master, in the drop down menu, you can see that we have a database called employee.db. So what is this database? Database is nothing but it is a kind of location we are creating, so where our Python data can come and store inside it. So okay, so this is our location where our Python database can come and store in the inside this database. Inside this employee DB database, where our data should be stored. Our data will be get stored in a table format. Okay, so for that we are going to create a table. Create, so we are going to write a command. So we are going to write create table, and we are going to give a table name. What will be our table name? Suppose assume that PBL underscore employee. So this will be our table name. And when I give this round parenthesis, suppose assume that we are taking the name from the user. Okay. So we are taking name. So it will be a type of envarchar. Envarchar is nothing but as we are using a string in our Python, so similarly in the database, a string type is a considered as an envarchar. Inside the string, you can either store a pin code, or you can store some name, or you can store a number. So similarly in SQL Server also, envarchar is defined as a kind of string. Okay, so we are taking a name. In what data type this name will be stored? This name will be stored as an envarchar data type, and we have specified kind of length here, so we are going to simply give as maximum. Okay, and we want that this data should not be null, so we are going to say not null. So user have a compulsion to enter this field. It is compulsory to enter get the data in this field. If your user is not entering, that it will throw an error. I will show you that also. And after that, giving the comma, we will come in the next line. Another what we will take, I suppose we are going to take the role. Okay, role. What is the role? Suppose in that also we are going to say envarchar, and we are saying max, and it should not be null. Okay, it should not null. And in the last, suppose we are telling them to create a password. Suppose password. Okay, or let's give it a name as a lock. We are going to say them create a lock, cover which is to consider as a password, and we are going to say envarchar, and let's give it also as max. Okay, so max. and it should not run. So we have created a kind of compulsion to the user, that user have a compulsory to enter this all these three fields. So when we select it and when I execute it, you can see that command, this table have been created. Then how we can see this table? When you go to this database folder, and inside it you can see that we have a database called employee db. When you select it and when you drop down it in the table section, you can see that we have created our table called employee tbl underscore employee. So now we are going to view this table how it looks. So we are going for viewing this table, we are going to say select star from TBL underscore employee. So this is our table name. For viewing our table, we are going to run this command select star from TBL employee. When I select it and when I execute it, so you can see here we have got a three columns which is known as a name, role, and a log. So inside this, so using Python, we are going to take a data for these three different fields, and using the SQL command, we will enter our data into the database using Python. So we have created a table here. So now let's write a code in Python for getting our data. So in the so I hope you understand how we have created a connection here. We have given a driver name in which our SQL, what database we are using. We are using SQL Server. So I've given SQL Server. So if you are using MySQL, so you can give MySQL, and inside this what is your server name. So you have to give your server name, and after that in which database your data should be stored. So we have created a new database which is known as a employee db. So we have to give the name here, that employee db. So let's erase it and give it name as employee underscore db. So this is our database name, and after that we have created a connection in which entirely we have stored these three values. Okay, we have created a variable called connection string, and inside using the f strings we have stored this all three values. So using all three values we can commonly access using this connection underscore string. And after that I have created this connection and I am connecting this connection string with this pyodbc. Okay, so I've connected here and I've used a cursor. Okay, if I have created a connect cursor, which is a kind of inbuilt function in this pyodbc module. So then only we can write our SQL commands and all using this. So now let's create our main function. So function is nothing but we are going take as user. Suppose we are doing say employee detail. So this is our function using which we are going to take our data from the user. So we are taking name. So name equals to, we are going to say input. We are telling them to enter the name, and let's duplicate and let's change it as role. We are taking a role. Okay, we have a role section also. So we are telling them to enter the role, and here we are telling them to create a password. Okay, password in which we are telling them to enter a password. Okay, so we are taking this, we have created a three input section where user will enter this three data, and this similarly with this name only we have created a table in our this employee DB database. So we are going to store these three data into this database. So now let's see how we can enter that data into the database. So I created a function and I'm taking three input from the user. Now I'm going to say cursor dot executes. Okay, this is a command in the pyodbc which helps us to run our SQL command. So what I'm going to say, I am going to run here the our SQL command. So I'm going to say insert. So whatever command I'm writing inside this, this is our SQL command in this SQL command. Okay, so for entering data into the table, we are going to say insert into. So we are going to say into. In what table we want to store the data? We have created tbl underscore employee. With the name of this we have created. And what all section we are passing the value? For name section, for role section, and for log section we are passing. Okay. For this, what are values we are passing? We are passing the values. Okay. We are going to separate it by this question mark. we are taking three inputs and let's give it. Okay. So what inside it was telling them name. Okay, so let's erase it and let's give a comma outside the string. We're telling them name, comma, role, comma, password. Okay, so what I have done here exactly, using this cursor in which I have created our PyODBC connection with our SQL server. So using this connection, I am telling them to execute. Execute means I'm telling them to run this SQL command. What is our SQL command? Our SQL command is nothing but insert into table employee. This is our table in which we have created inside this employee DB. The table which I have created is employee and tbl underscore employee. This table we have created it inside this employee DB. Okay, so that table name we have given here. So we have three different fields in which our data should be get entered. So that all name I have given here and what all values should get entered in that. So for this value, these three value will be get replaced with this question mark and it will get entered into the TBL employee table. So after this, I want to write a one more line called cursor.commit. So cursor.commit means after inserting the data into the table, I am telling them to save. If I have not run this command, then it will not, this data will go into the table, but it will not get saved after when I close this session, which I am running now. Okay. So after this, I want to tell them print as successfully, successfully enter the data. So after running all these lines, how we will come to know whether this data have been entered into our table or not. So after executing this, we are telling them to say print successfully enter the data. So when our code line reaches here, when this print statement execute, that means our these all codes have been successfully executed. So now let's call this function called employee detail. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, so let's run this. So it will ask us the three field which you have created. So it's a kind of connection issue here. We have created a requested by login fails. Okay, so what we have done here, we have created a error here. Okay, okay, so let's see what we have done. I think some sort of error database employee GB. So whether our name, okay, our name is issue here. We have given one the employee. So we have given a double E here. So I have given the spelling wrong. So now when I run this, okay, employee underscore DB. So now it is perfect. Okay, we have given our spelling wrong here. We have MPLOY. Okay, so let's copy this name. I have created a spelling error here. So I will recommend you to that you do not do this error. So if I am now given the spelling proper, so now when I run this program, so it will run properly. I think so. So let's see. Wait for you. Okay, yeah. It is running properly. It was my error. I have created the spelling issue there. So it is telling me to enter. Suppose I'm entering Tom. So let's enter Tom. And what is Tom role? Suppose Tom is working in the backend. Okay, he's working in the backend and is creating a password as Tom at the rate 03. So you can see here after doing this all entered, it has successfully entered the data. So how we will come to know whether it have been entered. So enter into the database. So let's go into our database and check. So let's view our table now. Okay, so let's view our table now and you can see that the data will be get entered. So you can see here the name top backend and the his password have been entered into it. So you can see here it have been successfully executed. So let's enter one more data again. So let's rerun this program. Suppose okay, so wait few seconds, it is taking some time. So suppose John and John is working in the front end. So he is working in the front end. His password is John 003. So let's enter. So it is executed. So now when we execute, you can see the two data will be present here. So you can see our program is working very fine. So this was the command to enter a data. So if you want to view the data whether it have been entered into the table or not, we are going into the database and after that we are checking. Why we cannot do that using a Python code? We can do that also. So let's see how we can view that database data using our Python command only. So for that, I'm going to create a function, suppose dot read. So I'm going to give it a name as a read. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to store our SQL command. So guys, I have created a function which will execute our read, which will execute our database data. It will display into our Python end. So for displaying that, I have written this SQL command inside a variable called read. Okay, or suppose suppose give it a name as a data, and I'm going to use a loop here for item in data. I'm going to say print item. So let's run it. Now when I'm calling this function, you can see that our data will be successfully displayed here. So you can see here, we are able to view our backend database data inside our Python only. So you can see here. So how we can return, how we have written that code. So I've used a SQL command called cursor.execute. Select star from email employee. I am selecting the all values from the table TBL employee and I've stored it inside a variable called data. And after using a loop, I am using a loop here to print whatever data have been present inside it. So you can see here, so using this code, we are able to view our database data in the Python only without going into our database. So if I am used, so let's enter some data and let's execute after entering some data. Let's run this program and let's see whether it is printing that data also properly or not. So let's run this program to enter the data. So let's see. So it will take few seconds. So we have to wait till that. So suppose I'm using a Harry and inside suppose Harry role is suppose full stack is working as a full stack developer and his password is @003. So it have been entered. So after entering the data, suppose assume that I'm calling this read function. So you can see that you will able to view that data also which have been entered now, Harry data also. So you can see here that means this data have been also entered into the database. So guys, I hope you have came to know how we can create a connection with our database and how we can send our data using the Python to the database. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe and comment below. So in our next video, we will see how we can do the update. If you want to change some data, so we will see how we can do that changes also. If we want to delete, so we will see how we can delete that data also. So in our next video, we will see that all things. So if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe and comment below. Don't forget to share this video to your friends. Thank you for watching guys.